Hey David, I'm Mike Manal from the Nerds of Color. How are you?
I'm good, Mike. I'm really good. Good to see you.
Good to see you again. I actually got a chance
Yeah.
to talk to you at Comic-Con. It was one of my favorite interviews ever. You and the whole crew, and it
Oh,
was just awesome. It's one of my favorite moments this year,
oh.
literally. And I got to talk to you before the movie came out, so I hadn't seen it, and now I've
Mm.
seen it, and I can safely say Andy was my favorite character. And your performance was my favorite in the movie. Not to throw shade or take away from everybody else who did such an amazing job, but you were my
Yeah.
favorite and Andy was my favorite. Don't tell the others, but yeah.
I promise you I won't, but thank you so much. That's
Of
so cool.
course. Of course. One of the things that I loved about your performance is, when it comes to artificial, beings like Andy,
Mm.
there's a lot of freedom to kind of switch personalities as you need to, and we see you doing that so beautifully here. We go from a very passive and almost bullied character to one that's cold and as calculating and as Rook,
Yeah.
so what was it like, and what inspirations did you draw from for these different sides of the character? What inspired your performances, your multi-layered performances on each layer?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Like, it means the world that you enjoyed it. It's still a pinch me thing, man, because you only set out to make something that's good. You don't set out for it to be anything more than just good and hopefully truthful. And the fact that people are taking to it like yourself, it means so much to me. Look, I guess when I think about Andy and trying to find who he was, it always came from a human perspective. You can't play synthetic. You can't, no one knows what that actually is, but you do know what it feels like to be an outsider. You do know what it feels like to be someone who's not really understood, and then you do know what it feels like to want to prove yourself. You know what I mean? And I think that those kind of questions are the things that kind of inspired Andy to me. And then you have someone like Fede, who's like a master collaborator, who really let me kind of like run wild. I'm kind of an actor that you kind of need to let me loose before I come back again. So, so Fede, he gave me that, and that was awesome. Yeah.
You could see it, and in my opinion, this is arguably the best alien movie made since Aliens, Cameron's, hands down. And I think a lot of people felt the same way, which is one of the best things about the reception to this movie. When you're watching this movie in theaters, you're going for the immersion and you're going for the atmosphere. And I loved it. The whole place was silent, but it's different when you're watching it from home because you don't have the theater, you don't have the quiet, you don't have the that's dark, location. But what you do and are able to do when you're watching this at home is take away even deeper things because you're able to rewatch it multiple times. So one of the things that I really wanted to say in honor of the home release of Romulus is what do you hope people are going to see in the repeated viewings of this movie as they rewatch it and watch it over and over at home? The biggest takeaways.
Well, I really do think that this this film is a family drama. As much as it's a definite alien film with tons of thrills, gore, and blood, courtesy of Fede and Ridley Scott. At its core, what me and Kaylee and the rest of the cast were trying to find was what are the dynamics in this family? Like, what are the things that we all know to be true, and kind of wish that our families can understand us like this or like this. I think that those complexities aren't the things that you get on the first take, especially in like a thrilling environment of a cinema. So I think if people are going to invite this film into their homes, which is an honor to be in people's homes, I just hope, yeah, people kind of maybe can understand a bit more of the family side of it, because there's a lot going on. We really did dig into that, and Kaylee, who's just amazing, really we helped each other find what that is. So if people find that and see that, that'd be cool. Yeah.
That's the one thing that I love about this movie so much is that heart within the movie. You think first and foremost of an alien movie, you're thinking to think horror. You don't necessarily always think about heart. But what you and Kaylee bring to this dynamic, this brother-sister dynamic, is so so beautiful, so emotional, and so lovely,
Thank,
which I loved. So wonderful job,
thank you
both of
so
you, of
much. Yeah,
course.
thank you.
I will say that if there's one thing we know about Fede, it's that regardless of whether it's Don't Breathe or Evil Dead and now Romulus, he puts his actors through the ringer. You guys are filled with dirt and blood and everything by the end of the movie, which makes for some of the best filmmaking experiences for any horror genre films that he makes. And I think that three really key scenes stick out in my mind in this movie. Obviously, the scene where the face huggers get defrosted. The what I call the don't breathe scene, the very quiet scene where there's face huggers everywhere and they're kind of looking for the thermal scans. And then, of course, the
Right.
zero gravity scenes. In filming all of these action sequences, were there any particular challenges for you and the rest of the crew, kind of, as I said, going through the ringer of what Fetty's putting you through?
Oh yeah, all of it. Every single bit. Every single bit of it was a challenge. Yeah, he didn't make it easy for us. But then again, I didn't want it to be easy. Sometimes as well, I often say this, I still feel very, very new to all of this. This is maybe quote unquote the biggest film I've done. I'm like an indie boy. I'm from like independent cinema and theatre, and the perk of doing things that feel bigger is that you kind of get a lot more resource, right? So you're like able to do more things. That doesn't mean that the effort and the truth of the situation and what you do should diminish. And Fede really didn't let that happen, which is awesome. It's like we were doing more work, even though we had like more resource and like we had just so many people from our fight directors, from the prop masters, just like giving us more things to do. And that just meant that it was, yeah, like I woke up every morning like exhausted, like my body was jelly. It wasn't, it wasn't easy, but it was really fun and like uh, you end up feeling really grateful that you were able to do that in an alien movie, dude. It's crazy. So yeah.
If it's one thing that I can say about all of that hard work that you, the crew, and Fede did, it's that people enjoyed the living hell out of these sequences. So thank you for putting your bodies on the line for us, because that's just entertainment right there.
All
Brilliant.
right. Thanks, man.
My last question to you, if I may, you
Mhm.
know, when it comes to Alien, especially this one, which the reception was so lovely, both critically, and commercially, audiences loved it because it was a genuinely good movie. That's what they wanted, and that's what they got. This movie does potentially signify that we could see more of Andy and we could see more of Rain in the future, the same way that we saw Bishop and Ripley and David from the Covenant series. If we get the chance to see, when we get the chance to see Andy again, what do you want to do to take that character further? What are your hopes for the future of the Romulus franchise?
Oh, dude, you got me there. That's a big question, right? That's a big question. I mean, look, one thing that I hope that we found and conveyed in our rendition of Alien um, is a truthful side of characters in extraordinary circumstances. So when I'm thinking about Andy, like I told you, he was really a real person to me. And I think they often say that there's no real complex characters in sci-fi. I beg to differ. I think Andy was really, really complex. So I just love to find a bit more there. And I think that there's a lot of scope. But that's not me. That's for Fede and everyone else to think about. Yeah, we'll see.
I think it's firmly embedded that you're part of this creative franchise, the creative process here too, because you just did a killer job. David, thank you so much. This was so wonderful to talk to you. It was so wonderful to see your work, and I know that everybody embraced it, and everybody embraced Romulus so much that I know that they can't wait to take it home, see all the extras, and go even deeper into this universe and this film. So, congratulations for this breakout, wonderful performance, and thank you for everything.
Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
In the lectures, fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different so check this.